bam, focused minds back up in the building, keeping the Lord first and everything else to come together. Canelo Alvarez, great Mexican fighter. You know, a lot of people got him as the best pound for pound fighter, and until Terrence came in and beat him and showed it was levels. You know, I never seen Canelo as that great fighter that the boxing world had him as from day one. You know, I knew Terrence was the pound for pound, and it just took him to get in there and do Canelo like he did. You know, Canelo is a great fighter. I don't think he uh is the best of the best though. I think it's a couple fighters that could beat Canelo, you know, that just never got the shot. Now, Canelo is a great Mexican fighter though. I ain't gonna take nothing away from him. You know, he got skills, got good head movement, foot movement decent, you know, got some power and things of that nature. But Crawford just one of them fighters, you know, true fighter, like fought like this ever since a kid. You know, boxing didn't teach what Crawford got. You know, it was just icing on the cake. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean by levels. You know, Canelo lost to Mayweather the same way. It was levels. You know, a lot of these black fighters did Canelo bad. He never really wanted to step in there. And this ain't even about race, but you know, boxing has been racist for a while, you know, unfortunately. And we need to get up out of that and give people credit where credit due. You know, Canelo is not the pound for pound best. You know, Terrence is the best in this era. And you know, he retired out, but he still need to be named the best in the era, regardless of what's going on. But Canelo, again, a decent Mexican fighter, had some great fights, cherry picked his way after his loss to Mayweather. You know, he never really fought, you know, the people that people wanted to see him fight, like David Benavidez. You know, that was a fight that should have been made. You know what I'm saying? A lot of other fighters as well should have been made. This particular fight here, you know, a hand-picked fight by Canelo because he thought he could win this fight, and he did. I thought Jamel could have beat him in this fight, but Jamel went in there and just threw nothing. Wasn't active, was on his bike the whole fight. You got to ask yourself, Jamel, why did you go in there and fight Canelo like this? Because you would have had just as much success as Terrence did had you thrown your punches, used your jab, and use your athleticism. This fight here, you just never showed up, and you could see Canelo really not that busy. You know, he really not that busy. Jamel just dancing around with him, using his feet well, but that's it. Not letting his hands go. And when he did, he threw him right into the block of Canelo. This was a bad showing. But as I say before, Canelo was hand picking these fights. And this could have been a fight that he made a mistake on, but Jamel went in there and really showed bad in this particular fight here. This fight here against Berlanga, another fighter who was just happy to say he fought Canelo, you know, didn't put no effort in, didn't let his hands go either, and lost this fight badly. And we haven't seen Berlanga since this fight here. And this is another example of Canelo hand picking fighters that, you know, he figured he could beat. And he did just that. You know, Berlanga, another talented fighter who could have again showed better and did nothing in the fight, didn't let his hands go, didn't use his body shots, didn't move his feet well, didn't move his head, didn't throw it, let his hands go, didn't throw no combinations that was meaningful. This is what I mean by Canelo, and Canelo got this like as if he is a top dog fighter, you know, A lot of boxers in the boxing world got him as pound for pound at the time before Crawford. I just never seen it. I never seen it. Caleb Plant, another cherry pick fight for Canelo. Here, you could see right here in this frame shot that Plant is on his bike, not throwing or letting his hands go. Happy just to say he fought Canelo. Haven't seen Plant really since this fight either. Haven't made no noise of no type. You know what I'm saying? Like in these fights here, Canelo got got his so-called praise for it. You know what I mean? People calling Canelo the best to ever do it. Nobody could beat Canelo. Well, nobody really giving Canelo no fight. Nobody in there in the ring letting their hands go, giving they all. Like it's a fight, a big fight. You know what I'm saying? Caleb Plant jumped in there, start running around in circles the same way Jamel did. Here, when Canelo dared to be great, Bivol showed him that it's levels. Canelo wanted to challenge himself and move up in weight and lost. You know, this is where levels was shown. Bivol outboxed him, used his hands better, used his feet movement better, head movement better, and end up beating Canelo easily to me. This is what I'm talking about to all these Canelo lovers. And we know it's racism in boxing. Everybody, even some of the black commentators was giving Canelo pound for pound. And I'm going to tell you, man, I just never seen Canelo as nothing more than a decent fighter. You know what I'm saying? Every time he challenged himself, he should have been able to win this fight if he was something special. You did like Crawford beat him. He should have been able to come up and beat Bivol if he was a special type of fighter, and he just couldn't do it. Here, early in his career, Mayweather outclassed him. Boxing had Canelo as some big fighter. They wanted to throw him in there with a lion early on in his career. And it proved again that it's levels to this boxing game. So Crawford ended out his career on Canelo, showing at his levels. Mayweather early in Canelo career showed it was levels. So all this racism and not wanting to give black fighters their credit, we need to stop with that. Mayweather was the best in his era. Terrence Crawford, the next era. Canelo, where do he sit in this? I mean, he top 10, in my book. Canelo to me was not a special fighter as the boxing world had him out to be. And again, man, this is another proof of it. This is Mayweather destroying Canelo early on in his career when he was such a great boxer. And every time Canelo met these type of fighters, he took the L. So that's a lot to be said for all you boxing heads who continue to say Canelo this, Canelo that. To me, Canelo was a great fighter, but as many great fighters. And he never challenged himself with the toughest, and when he did, he lost. And it's still fighters that could still beat him to this day. Yet he's still chasing Terrence Crawford, which, I mean, my man Crawford done. He retired. He proved his point. Came up a couple weight classes to show his levels to fighting. And you either got it or you don't. Canelo is a great fighter, but he is not what people made him out to be for sure. I'm out of here.
Ain't got a price. Because people say, like, I love my dog. I get $100. No, I get $1,000. No, I get $100,000. Hey, you can have it. Like, my thought is everything has a price. There is not a number that can get you back in that ring. 80 million, 100 million. Nah, because now you selling your soul. $100 million, you can have my soul. That's you. Now we know your character. I respect you, Jim. I'm sorry? I respect you. You respect me. Yeah.